Good morning. It is Monday, the 21st of May, 2018. I'm Paula Ann Porter-Jones with the latest from the RGR News Centre. Lawyers representing dancehall entertainer Tommy Lee Sparta will be heading to court today in a bid to get him released from police custody. The popular entertainer, whose given name is Leroy Russell, was arrested early yesterday morning after leaving the Magnum Kings and Queens of Dancehall show in Kingston. RGR News has been informed that CTOC and CIB detectives want to question him about organized crime in St. James. His attorney, Ernest Smith, told RGR News that the entertainer was held by masked police personnel while at an ATM in Manor Park, St. Andrew. Mr. Smith, who is taking issue with his client's arrest, is claiming police brutality.
The officer who we are now told is dealing with the matter has decided to do what is called in law the Galleon Lee trick. That is to say, the disappearing trick. We cannot find him to find out exactly why he ordered that group of police officers to take him into custody. What it is that he is being investigated for, what it is that they want to question him concerning. In other words, it is what we lawyers sometimes call custody by ambush, apprehension by ambush. We know nothing as to why the man has been taken. So I will be going to the parish court, St. Andrew Parish Court, for them to tell the judge what has this man done, why he has been taken into custody, and is there anything that he's supposed to have done in respect of which he's been investigated.
Ernest Smith, the attorney for popular dancehall entertainer Tommy Lee Sparta. The Ministry of Youth is to receive a report today from the Child Protection and Family Services Agency on a suspected case of neglect and child endangerment involving a 4-year-old boy from Rivoli in St. Catherine. The child, who is said to have Down syndrome, was placed in state care on Thursday. Residents claimed the child's mother left him unsupervised on various occasions, and there were instances where he was not fed for several days. His mother has not been found. A resident said the St. Catherine North Police and the Child Protection and Family Services Agency were contacted about the matter but failed to act. The Police High Command and the agency are investigating the claim. And the Office of the Children's Advocate has also commenced a probe into the case involving the 4-year-old boy.
The Office of the Children's Advocate is, of course, aware of the matter, having seen it in the media. We are concerned, of course, because if it is that a child was really in need for 3 years and nothing happened, then that's a very serious issue. While we have noted that both the police and the CCFSA have indicated they are carrying out their probe in keeping with the independent nature that probes that are truly credible have to abide by, and also the mandate of the Office of the Children's Advocate, we have in fact started our own investigation just to ensure that all the pieces that are at play are properly looked at and we can understand what happened in this situation, and of course look towards future matters to prevent these issues from recurring.
Children's Advocate Diane Gordon Harrison. The Corporate Area Traffic Court at 2 Melbourne Road has been closed to the public until further notice following a fire. The fire occurred on Friday. A statement from Court Management Services says all matters previously set for the courthouse at 2 Melbourne Road will be heard at 36 Camp Road. It said persons may contact the court officer or Court Management Services for information concerning their cases. And it should be known today when the traffic court at 2 Melbourne Road will reopen. Permanent Secretary in the Justice Ministry, Carol Palmer, gave details on the fire.
I was advised it was an electrical fire. There is some problem between the power coming in from GPS and the circuitry there at the court. The update I got today is that the contractor is trying to work through what the issues are. And I expect they will be calling JPS to work together to solve the problem so the court can be up and running as soon as possible.
Permanent Secretary in the Justice Ministry, Carol Palmer. You're listening to the news from the RGR News Centre, brought to you by Courts. It's now 5 minutes after 6 o'clock. Members of the gasoline retail trade are worried that the Jamaican economy could be hard hit as oil prices continue to inch up. With oil prices now above $70 a barrel and some analysts predicting an increase to $100 by next year, the Jamaica Gasoline Retailers Association, JGRA, says this will likely spell bad news for the country.
It cannot all go well for our industrial commercial activities here.
Limited,
it will
the only
hamper our growth projection for the country. And of course, high fuel price will start a domino effect in increasing prices. And that at this time, when we're looking at a recovering economy, cannot all go well for us.
JGRA President Philip Chong. In a recent interview with RGR News, Energy Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley said the Holness administration is looking to develop strategies to prevent a major blow to Jamaica if oil prices skyrocket. Analysts have predicted that prices for crude oil may rise sharply due to major supply risks in Iran and Venezuela, which are likely to strain global energy markets. And the JGRA president was asked if gas station operators have seen a fall off in sales with prices at the pumps inching up in recent weeks.
No. As usual, sales not affected as we just buy as we need. So it trend continues, but it will be an increase in capital expenses from the dealers, which will burn probably higher interest rates to us and added additional costs, something we can really do without at this time.
Jamaica Gasoline Retailers Association President Philip Chong. The private sector organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, is urging the government to fast-track the divestment of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, and the Riverton City disposal site. The call is being made against the backdrop of the recent major fire close to the dump. Head of the PSOJ, Howard Mitchell, argues that a proper system of waste management would reduce these incidents. He says he does not understand why it is taking so long to divest an entity which is a burden on the state.
I was aware of it in 2007 that we were moving to divest National Solid Waste Management Authority. I am also aware that there are a number of interested parties with some of the best technology in the world to deal with human waste, and I don't see why this can't be done in a year.
Head of the PSOJ, Howard Mitchell. In the meantime, Mr. Mitchell says the government must provide an update on the divestment process.
And I would really like to call on the government to indicate who is responsible for the divestment of National Solid Waste, whether it is with the DBJ or with whoever, and to give a report to the public as to what is the status of the divestment program.
Head of the PSOJ, Howard Mitchell. In October last year, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced that the pre-feasibility study on the divestment of the commercial activities of the NSWMA had been completed. With 2 days to go before Barbadians go to the polls, the two main political parties contesting the general election say they are ready. Last weekend, the leaders of the Democratic Labour Party, DLP, and the Barbados Labour Party, BLP, were in the field ramping up support before the May 24 election. BLP leader Mia Motley was in the St. Michael Northeast constituency, which she is hoping to retain. Ms. Motley said her party's campaign was going well and according to plan. Over in the DLP camp, Prime Minister Frundell Stewart said his party was becoming increasingly enthusiastic as election day draws nearer. On Saturday, he was in the St. Michael South constituency, which he is defending. And now to end this newscast, the main points. Lawyers for Tommy Lee Sparta going into court today in a bid to get him released from custody. Youth Ministry to receive report today on suspected case of neglect and child endangerment in Rivoli, St. Catherine. Fire forces the suspension of operations at the Corporate Area Traffic Court on Melbourne Road. PSOJ urges government to fast-track divestment of the NSWMA and Riverton City disposal site. And that's the news at this time, brought to you by our friends from Courts, bringing value home. News next at 7.